starting at verse 27. It says, Jesus and his disciples left Galilee, and they went up to the villages near Caesarea Philippi. As they were walking along, he asked them, "Who do people say that I am?" Well, they replied, some say John the Baptist, some say Elijah, others say prophets. Then he asked them, "But who do you say I am?" Peter replied, "You are the Messiah." But then Jesus warned them, "Do not tell anyone." Father, we come before you. Thank you so much that you are the Father. You love to give good gifts. We thank you for the gift of your presence in this place. We thank you for your word, God, which comes to transform our lives. So we ask about the power of your Holy Spirit. Would you come through this place? Would you change us, challenge us, draw us into deeper relationship with our Lord and Savior? May your word fall on good soil. Everybody say good soil. Today in Jesus' name. And we all declare amen. So we're still in this series, right, called Mark. And one of the things that I'm trying to go through is describing what it means when God has chosen you, when he has called you, right? And so here's the thing, when we look at this particular text, I think about how famous it is. And it's famous because of Peter's declaration. It's famous because of the declaration of Peter. How many of you all remember that childhood game, I Declare War? Y'all remember that? I kind of feel like it's a hood card game. Some of our other adults are like, I don't know what that is. Well, it's a fun game, and the essence of the game is you have to collect all the cards in the deck. So whoever has the higher card wins. You guys are good. Whoever has the highest card, they win, right? And so the objective is to get all of the cards. And so then at one point in the game, if you all have cards that are equal in numbers, right, you have to go, I declare war. You kind of lay out several different cards, and whoever has the highest card, is there anybody who played this game, or is it just me? Because I feel like I'm explaining it and y'all like, what? Now if I was talking about spades, go fish, no, not so much. Solitaire. I think we all play solitaire. We all played solitaire before, right? Yeah. Do y'all play cards? Y'all so safe and quiet. Then I'm just, now I'm rethinking my whole card illustration mid-circle. Because I'm talking about everybody's like, I don't play cards, Pastor. I'm very safe. We don't do that. But you get my joke throw. The point of any game, right, is that you want to win. It's all about the ultimate win. Are there any competitive people in here? Okay, now I got you. All my competitive people make some noise. Wow. That sounded like the entire auditorium right there. I do not want to play any games with any of you all. I'm not a competitive person. Ask my family. Okay, Jesus is still working on me, all right? He's still working. But all of us care about winning, right? We all care about winning. No matter how competitive we are, nobody enters into any challenge, game, or any other sort of thing that's competitive and go, I would like to lose. As a matter of fact, your favorite team is playing today, the Packers. I was just playing. I want to see if y'all was listening. Okay? The Vikings are playing. And no matter what, you don't want your team to lose today. You want them to win. And it's all about winning. See, Peter's declaration, whether we know it or not, at the end of the day was about him winning. Yeah. Out of all of the disciples, Peter was one of the three whom Jesus had in his inner circle. So Jesus had two circles when it came to his disciples. He had his larger group, and then he had a small group. That was the group he kept with him. That was the group he took with him when it was time to pray. That was the group Jesus is asking this question as they're walking into this place called Caesarea Philippi, and he's going, who do people say that I am? The whole group, it's kind of like, what do you think? What do you think? Well, some say you're a prophet. Some say you're John the Baptist. Some say you're Elijah. And after Peter listens to everybody answers, he is Mr. Competitive himself, and he's like, I got the right answer. He goes, you are the Messiah. You are the Son of the living God. You are the Messiah, Jesus. And Jesus is like, right answer. Peter's like, winning. I got that. Right? But here's the thing that's really important about this declaration, because oftentimes Peter is most remembered not for this declaration, but for what? Him denying Jesus 3 times. Everybody remembers that famous story. He denies Jesus 3 times, but there's something else that's really significant besides his denial, the thing that precedes that denial, which is this declaration, and why this declaration is so important. This declaration is so important because Peter's declaration reveals something that otherwise would have been hidden. He reveals something that was hidden really up until that moment. He is revealing Christ's true identity. He's revealing his true mission. But you may go, well, wait, he was already healing people. He was already performing miracles. He was already doing all these other things. And you're right. Jesus was already doing those things. But here's the problem. Everybody just assumed that he was that one thing. He's a miracle worker. He's a prophet. He's a rabbi. He's a good teacher. He's a good preacher. I'm amazed by his teaching. He's all of these things. But people weren't quite sure about this whole messianic status thing. But Peter, because he was in the inner circle, because he knew who Jesus was, he declares in that moment with his competitive self, right? And I understand, because when you got the right answer, you feel good about it. He goes, you are the Messiah. You are the Son of the living God. And in Mark, it just tells us that Jesus goes, you have answered correctly. Don't tell anybody. Don't tell anybody. Wait a minute. Jesus, this is a huge deal. This is a huge deal. People have been misinformed about who you are. This is a big deal. They just thought you were a good preacher. They thought you were a good teacher. They've been trying to sign up for your special rabbinical classes. They've been trying to get in those miracle working sessions. They've been lining up to get a special word from you. But no. You're not just that. You're actually Messiah. Another word for Messiah is king. So he's going, you're actually a king. Oh, you're royalty. This is a big deal. And Jesus is like, don't tell. Jesus, why do we have to keep this a secret? Why do we have to remain silent about this? This is a huge revelation. And on top of that, Jesus, we're right in the middle of a place where people need to know that you are the Messiah, that you are the King. They're in a place called Caesarea Philippi, and this place is really unique. It's about a 14-hour walk. Can you imagine? Can you imagine? Some of y'all are like, no, I barely made it from the parking lot. The longest I've ever run was probably like a couple hours, and that was in a half marathon. And I have if you all know Tiffany Bishop Cobb, she ran a marathon. I know, that's ridiculous. 26.2 miles. Okay? Now you all are like, woo! Imagine walking 14 hours. Jesus essentially is taking them on a walk. He takes them on a 14-hour walk. 14 hours away from where he was doing ministry. 30 miles away from where all the miracles were going on, from where all the church was happening, from where all the good things were happening, from the place where people have made all these assumptions about who he was. And he brings them to a place that is filled with all kinds of heresy, that is filled with all kinds of idolatry and worship. It is filled with all these things that the Roman Empire has built, all these translucent temples dedicated to all of these gods, all of these statues dedicated to all of these Caesars. The power of Rome was in the air, and here they are in the middle, and Peter says, you are the king. In the middle of the city that elevates everything that is against who God is, that elevates paganism, that elevates idolatry, that elevates all sorts of immorality. He goes, you are the king. Let's make an announcement. Jesus says, not here. Not now. And they're all looking a little perplexed. Some of them are perplexed because they're like, dang, Peter got the right answer right there. I'm tired of this dude. I'm trying to get in with Jesus, and he is always butting in, right? I was going to ask to walk on water, but then Peter got it, right? You never know. But here he is again. He's butting in, and he answers a question. And then they're all looking perplexed. Some are a little jealous because he gets the answer right. But all in all, Jesus knows what he's doing, because they're looking around and they're thinking, after Jesus has said, don't tell anyone, they're like, then why are you telling us? Why are you really here? Because they believe that once Jesus or the Messiah came, that he would overtake all sorts of rule and power, and he would become the king. And Jesus goes, actually, no, I have another plan. Well, what's your plan? I mean, you are the Son of God. You are the Messiah. So Matthew chapter 16, where this story is the same, gives us a little idea of what Jesus' plan was. So Matthew chapter 16, starting at verse 16. It says, Simon Peter answered. So it's the same story. Simon Peter answered, you are the Messiah, the Son of the living God. And Jesus replied, you are blessed, Simon, son of John, because my Father in heaven has revealed this to you. You did not learn this from any human being. Now I say to you that you are Peter, which means rock, and upon this rock I will build my church, and all the powers of hell will not conquer it, and I will give you, check this out, the keys of the kingdom of heaven, and whatever you forbid on earth will be forbidden in heaven, and whatever you permit on earth will be permitted in heaven. Now Matthew gives us a little bit more detailed view of what this conversation is, and probably why the other disciples are annoyed, because not only does Peter get the right answer, Peter now gets some special treatment. Peter gets a name change. Not only does Peter get a name change, Peter now gets all of this access. We talked about access last week, talked about how worship gives you access. Well, another thing that gives you access is when you are in right relationship with God, meaning when you are tight with God and you understand who you are, right, and whose you are, it gives you access to certain kinds of revelation that you didn't have before. But not just any kind of revelation, revelation about who you are, revelation about the kind of power and authority that you have, revelation about who God is in you, that if God is for you, then who can be against you? Revelation that God stands up tall in you at all times. You never have to fear the enemy. All you have to do is plead the blood. It gives you revelation that you are a winner, that you are a conqueror, that you are all God says you are. It's one thing to know it, because I can say it all day and you go, I know that, I know that, I know that. But when you got revelation about it, that means when you believe it, when it has been imparted into you in a way Jesus goes, now you have some keys. Now you can unlock some stuff. The stuff that's been locked up. You know, I was thinking about sometimes, often as believers, we miss out on too much stuff. We do. And then we just kind of go, well, that's the will of God. It's the will of God that I missed out on that promotion. And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that everything is always meant for us, but there are things that are meant for us that we miss out on. And when we miss out on it, we just go, that was the will of God. But then you look at the alternative to what you could have had, which is no promotion, actually less money and a demotion. And you can't look at that alternative and go, well, this is the will of God. I missed something. I miss something. Because if I'm in this place where I believe God has given me authority, and He's shown me that I'm meant for greater, He's shown me that there's something else for me, and then I actually don't walk into that, I go backwards from that, then God, what did I miss? What revelation has not sunken in to who I'm supposed to be? What don't I know about myself yet? Really, the real question is, what don't I know about you yet? What don't I understand about you yet? Because there's something that I'm missing. Because it's not your will that I stay stagnant. It's not your will that I go backwards. Find your place. Grow in faith. Live your life. Transform. If I'm not growing and going, right, I'm regressing and I feel depressed. What am I missing? Peter had something right. He understood, one, who God was, who Jesus was. He goes, you are the Messiah. You are the King. You are the anointed one. Though he said one word, it was power-packed. He said, you are our salvation. You are the Lamb of God. You are Emmanuel, God with us. You are the Rose of Sharon, right? These are all Old Testament references. You are the balm in Gilead, meaning you are relief to those who are hurting and those who are wounded. He was saying so much more. He was saying you are the Son of the living God in a place that was dedicated, where temples were built to all of these gods that were dead, that didn't listen, that weren't real, that were false. He goes, you are the Son of the living God, the God who is active, the God who is alive, the God who is moving, the God who is working, the God who neither sleeps nor slumbers. You are the one who reigns supreme. You're not just a prophet. You're not just a healer. You're not just a miracle worker. You're not just a genie in a bottle. Because sometimes we just look at him for all the stuff that he does. We look at him for all the miracles he performed, for all the bread that he's multiplied, for all the fish that he's multiplied, for all the eyes that he's opened, and then we kind of box him in right there. And then he goes, no. I am the King of Kings. I am the Lord of Lords. I am God, I am Jehovah. I am the beginning and the end. I am the first and the last. I am the Alpha and the Omega. I am God. I am the creator of the universe. In Genesis, when it says, let us go down and make man, it included me. I was there at the very beginning when breath was breathed into your body. I am not just good, I am God. The other disciples, they were like, you are good. But Peter piped up and said, not only are you good, but but you are God. And there's a difference between identifying God as good, because we can say God is good all day, and we can show up at church, we can sing the songs, we can live godly throughout the week, or at least try, quote unquote, right? We do our best, right, to serve God. But when we understand that he's God, we got a certain disposition. We see things different than what everybody else sees them. Jesus told Peter, he said, human understanding has not given this to you. Human perspective has not given that to you. I go, God, that's what I want. To be able to look at a situation and go, I don't want to just see it from a human perspective. I want to see it from what the Father says. Because he goes, humans have not revealed this to you. Logic has not revealed this to you. But my Father, who is in heaven, he's talking to you. Oh God. Hear that. God, our Father in heaven, actually talks to us. He's talking to Peter. And then it continues to progress. Because after Peter goes, listen, you are the Messiah. Jesus says, you've answered it rightly. And you are the rock. You are the rock, Peter. I know that people call you the son of John. I know that you used to be called Simon. But I'm telling you now who you really are. Man. I'm telling you now who you really are. I know you're the daughter of fill in the blank. I know you're from the family of fill in the blank. I know you're the son of fill in the blank. I know you are from this country, this place, this state, fill in the blank. But let me tell you who you really are. Let me give you your real name. He goes, you are Peter, and upon this rock, hear this is crazy. He goes, because we've heard it so much, we kind of don't pay attention to it, but he goes, upon this rock, I will build my church. Peter has no idea what Jesus is talking about. Church did not exist. There were no all these posts and all these invites and flyers and mailings to come to church, come on Sunday morning at 10 a.m., come at 10:30 a.m. If you're really ambitious, get here at 8 a.m. Somebody got an 8 a.m. service somewhere. And come and do all of this. There wasn't any of that. God was speaking to him in a mystery of sorts. He goes, you are the rock. And upon this rock, I'm about to build a church. Makes no sense, God. When God begins to impart something to you, and he gives you a revelation about who you are, once you understand who you are, it won't always make sense at first. Because he's telling you something that hasn't even come into existence yet. He's telling you something that hasn't even been created yet. Peter, you are a rock. Really, Peter was just kind of hard-headed. Peter was really rough around the edges. Peter was a grandstander at times. He was Mr. Competitive at times. But Jesus right here goes, I'm not calling you about who you are today, son of John. I'm calling you who you are, who I've created you to be since the beginning of time. When you get into fellowship with God, he begins to reveal who you really are, and he will change your name. He will change it from whatever it was to the name he has given you. He goes, Peter, I'm going to call you Rock, even though you look rough right now. Even though you do stuff that's extra right now. You try to correct me. He rebukes Jesus a couple of lines later. Because Jesus says he's going to die. And Peter's like, no, you're not. And Jesus goes, I rebuke you, Satan. He challenges Jesus. He eventually denies Jesus. But Jesus, knowing all of that, still goes, you're my plan. You're my plan for my church. I don't care where you are or how rough around the edges you may be. God doesn't call you by where you are. He doesn't identify you, place you, give you placement or status according to where you are today, right? Because you can be broken today, but God sees you healed. Yes? You can be afraid today, but God sees you as courageous. You can be weak today, but God sees you as strong, right? You can be wounded today. You can be ill today. You can be sick today, but God sees you as healed. God doesn't identify you or give you status based on where you are right now. He goes, I give you the name by which I see you for, the name in which you were created for, and you are my plan for the church. My life is messed up. I don't have all the answers. I'm like Naomi, right? Y'all remember Naomi? She loses her entire family, her sons and her husband. She returns home, and everybody's like, hey, Naomi, don't call me Naomi. Call me Mara, because my life is bitter. But little did she know that God had a plan through a woman named Ruth and a man named Boaz to bring her a grandson that would no longer her life be bitter, but it would be sweet again. I know it feels bitter right now. I know it feels painful right now. But God has already given you a status. And a name change is in that status. But you got to be willing to pivot and move into that next place and not just see him as good. I get it. You see him as good. He's taking care of you. He's blessed you. He's protected you. But can you see him as God?
Yes. Yes. Yes.
The God who can really revolutionize your life. Not just make you a better person, but make you a new creation. The Bible says that if there is any person who is in Christ, they are a new creation. The old has passed away, and behold, all things have become new. That's just not metaphorical, that's literal. But sometimes we don't believe that. We just believe God makes us better. No, you can't get no better. Sin is sin. Messy is messy. And we all got an element of messy. We all got an element of sin. We all got an element of ugly. And we'll never be good enough. We'll never get better to the point where we can say we now deserve this salvation. All we can just say, God, is cover me with your grace. Because no matter how good I am, I'm always going to need God. No matter how much better I may get in the area, I'm always going to need God. I'm going to need the King of Kings. I'm going to need the Lord of Lords, because I'm his plan for the church. And I just can't be good. I can't be just a good person. I have to be God's person. And he tells Peter, you now have a new level of spiritual clearance. Because not only are you the rock, you're the rock that the gates of hell will not prevail against. What did he tell competitive Peter? You gonna win every time. You gonna win every time. Because now the enemy knows my plan for you. He knows that you're the rock. He sees that your name has been changed. But let me reassure you. You gonna win. You gonna win. That's all you competitive people in here need to hear. You gonna win. The gates of hell will not prevail against God's plan for you. They may shake, it may rock, it may rumble, but it won't win. It won't prevail. You go, well, how do you know? I just feel like it's about to break. That's when he tells Peter, I've given you keys. He goes, here's what your keys look like. Because you go, well, what are the keys? Are they actual literal keys? Here's the key. He goes, the key essentially is prayer. Oh. He goes, the key is prayer, because I'm putting you on assignment, right, to do something here in the earth, right? And because I know that I'm giving you an assignment, there will naturally be obstacles to every sort of thing you're trying to do. Am I right? Don't get me on my food kick, right? On my money kick. You trying to live right diet-wise? Somebody invite you out for what? You trying to save your money? Somebody like, can I borrow $20? You know what I mean? Or an unexpected bill pops up. Whenever you're moving to do something, there's always an obstacle. So God goes, I know you're on assignment, but this is a heavenly assignment. So you have to know that the obstacles coming your way are going to have to match or be parallel to your assignment. So it is a heavenly assignment. You have to know that the obstacles are not just going to be physical ones, but they will be spiritual ones. They will be evil ones. They will be ones that have been sent from the pits of hell. They will be ones that are sent to try to take you out. That's why Jesus tells Peter later on, he goes, the enemy has desire to sift you as wheat, but I have prayed for you that your faith would not fail. The obstacle's going to come, but your faith is not going to fail. So he goes, listen, you're on assignment, there's going to be obstacles, so I'm going to give you some keys. I'm going to give you something you can work with. So when the enemy comes and he's raging his head through your children, raging his tail through your job, through your spouse, through your, I mean, we can name all of it, right? When he shows up, because really what he's trying to do is prohibit you from your assignment. So here I'm going to give you some keys. When he shows up to prohibit you from doing what I've called you to do, I've given you a trick. I've given you a tool. And that tool is called prayer. And here's what the prayer will do. The prayer will restrict anything that is trying to restrict you. Prayer will loose anything or empower you to do all the things that I want you to do. And you go, wait, how does that even work? Does that even make sense? Here's the thing. He's telling Peter, he says, listen, whatever you bind on earth or restrict on earth, I will restrict in heaven. Whatever you loose, I will loose. What does that mean? God is like, you and I are in alignment. You and I are on the same page, but you got to do the work. You're the one that's here. I'm up there. So you know that all you got to do when you're here is call me. Y'all remember that song? Jesus is on the main line. I should know to never get y'all singing a song. But here's the thing. Here's our placement. Our placement is the earth. And sometimes we're like Peter, we get confused and we think, Jesus, you're here, you do the work. And Jesus goes, no. I'm about to sacrifice, pay the ultimate price so you can do the work. My placement is on the throne. And since I'm placed in heaven and you're placed here on earth, all you have to do is boldly come to the throne of grace in your time of need, and I'll give you what you need. So I need you to show up. Not just show up to be good, but show up to my throne. Show up to my presence. Not just lift your hands and clap and sing the song, but you're dead to my presence. You're singing, but you haven't entered into the holies of holies. How do we come week in and week out and we sing the song? We don't get into his presence. We don't seek his face. We seek a feeling. God, help me feel good. I mean, I like this song too. So shall we feel better? No. Let me get through the nonsense. Let me fish through it. Because I need your face. I need your face, not just your hand. Here's the reason why we don't always get God in worship the way we need to get him in worship. Because we're too busy looking for his hand. God, what's in your hand to give me? What's in your hand to give me? No. I want to see your face. I want to know who you are. Because then when the gift comes, or the thing comes that I've been praying for and wanting, when it gets rocked, when it gets shaken, when it gets questionable, I know who you are though. I know the what, but I need to know the who.
That's good.
So he says, here are the keys, Peter. Anything that you need, I'll do. But you have the power to unlock it. Hear what I'm saying? You can make the declaration. You can speak that truth. But at the end of the day, he gives you something more. He goes, take this revelation and now use these keys and begin to unlock what I have for you. Unlock the peace. Unlock the growth. Unlock the understanding. Unlock the revelation. Unlock the healing. Peter had to unlock the fact that he was the rock. Because he didn't get it right away. Because a couple of verses after Jesus goes, okay, don't tell anybody, Jesus begins to tell them his real mission. I've come to die. Peter said, not so. I rebuke you. See, how is it that the same man who just made this declaration of truth misses in this moment what Jesus is actually here for? Is because he still has to unlock who God has called him to be and what God has called him to do. God has made provision for us. You're good. God has made provision for us to have the things that he's promised us. He's made provision for us to do the things that he's called us to do. He's made provision for us to be able to stand in places where folks do not know God, do not honor God, do not reverence God, do not care about God. He has given us authority to stand in places where people just see him as somebody who's good, as somebody who gives great advice, as a good sage, as a good teaching guru who has these good moralistic rules to follow. But he goes, I don't want people to see me as that. I want them to see me as their God. The one who loves them, the one who has something deeper for them. There are too many people who stand at the shore of God's goodness. They stand at the shore and they look at the water and they go, man, this is a beautiful view. They look at the water and they go, man, this view is peaceful. It's serene. It's good. They stand at the shore and go, man, these waters look awfully calming, awfully clear. These waters look great. I like standing right here because just the view gives me peace. The view makes me feel good. Then God goes, I don't want you to take in the view. I want you to get in the water. And too many of us, we're standing at the shore, looking at how beautiful it looks. looks, how peaceful it looks. And God is going, take off your shoes. I want you to get in. And not only do I want you to step in, I actually want you to dive. And I want you to swim. I want you to be completely encompassed by my love. Even before we leave this service today, as we worship in a few more minutes, even as we're kind of worshiping, as we're wrapping up, you know what? Be intentional to go, I'm going to enter in. I'm not just going to stand at the shore. Now this morning you may have stood at the shore. You listened to the worship songs and you stood at the shore. You waved your hand and you stood at the shore, but I dare you to dive in. I dare you to dive in, completely abandoned, and go, it doesn't matter who I'm not. All that matters is who you have called me to be. I declare that you are the Son of God. I declare that you are King. I declare that you are Messiah. You are not just good, but you are God. And I just don't want what's in your hand. I want to see your face. I want you to fully show me who you are, so I can begin to understand who I am. Is there anybody here who wants that? You ready to jump in? You're tired of standing at the shore? If that's you, I want you, if you're able to stand to your feet. I love this part. All the chairs go up. We don't have a formal altar call where you can come and go to the altar. But our own version of the altar call is when those seats fly up. That lets us know that the Spirit of God really is moving and He's stirring us. And that encourages me. Here's why. Because an auditorium full of people just stood up and said, I want to dive in. Say that with me. Say, I want to dive in. I want to dive in. So that means in a few minutes, as we worship, we're not just going to sing the song. We're going to have dive-in worship. We're not just going to have, I'm observing worship. I'm taking it all in and sitting back. I'm resting worship. I'm sitting in my chair worship. No. I'm going to dive in before I leave. I'm going to dive in because if there's a chance, hear this, if there's a chance for me to see God and know God in a way that I didn't before I walked in here, I don't want to miss it. If there's a chance for me to receive from God something that's about to revolutionize my life today, I want to receive it. If there's something that God wants to show me about my name and who I am, that's going to get me to pivot my life. Well, I'll stop smoking. I'll stop drinking. I'll be a better spouse. I'll be a better parent. I'll be a better... I want it. I'm ready to die. I'm ready to die. Say, I'm ready to die. I'm ready to die. God, we come before you. Prepare our hearts for the die. That as we worship you through giving, as we look to you, God, would you speak? Would you show us something that will pivot our lives and revolutionize it in a way that we didn't even see coming? Not just because you're good, but because you're God. And may we be forever changed. In Jesus' name, we pray. Come on, give God